I'm so excited. Hello and welcome to the pilot episode of the podcast Safarii Speaks. My name is Sofia and I am your host. Today we're going to be talking about an interesting and, in my opinion, a socially prevalent topic, which is loneliness. With the popularization of the terms introvert and loneliness, as well as creators like Madeline Argy with the podcast Pretty Lonesome, which talks about being or feeling socially isolated and not having many friends, I feel like this is an important topic and I have a few things to say on it. So hopefully this will go well. Now, I think this topic specifically applies to me because I don't really have many friends, and that is okay. That is okay and that is fine. So the Google definition of loneliness is 1. Sadness because one has no friends or company, or the quality of being unfrequented and remote, or isolation in other words. So I think that this is an interesting topic and it has brought me a lot of thoughts. It's giving me a lot of brain food and I'm excited to share. A few months ago, actually, I got this tattoo and that tattoo says solitude. Now, in ways, this tattoo was done in tribute of one of my favourite people and social creators, Karina, or at Diamond April on Instagram, as she was a big inspiration for me, and that tattoo was absolutely awesome and I felt like it resonated with me. But I feel like solitude is something that one must find within themselves of what for me is loneliness, and also why it is a good thing and why you should maybe try it as well. It is known for a fact that humans are social creatures. We crave a sense of community, and according to, for example, functionalist theory in sociology, there are different aspects of society which only combined together work in order for society to function properly. So those are things like the economy, the media, religion, family, etc. And therefore these things can each help you find a sense of community. So things like religions, societies, athletic clubs, any extracurriculars, even just the people at your local pub can help you feel that sense of community. Now, I think this is also very important now because a lot of people have moved away for university for the first time in their lives and they might feel a bit lost or a bit maybe scared. But if I'm being honest, I was probably the most obnoxiously loud, feisty and annoying person when I was younger. I was always very loud and bubbly, but I didn't seem to have many friends, and there's nothing wrong with that. I was never the popular kid in school. I don't have many friends now, and that is fine because I would rather choose to have a few good friends who I actually trust the most rather than have a large group of people who I just connect with a little bit. Again, that's just me personally, and there's nothing wrong with having a big friend group. However, I feel like people make such a big deal out of, being alone, and to me, it is a skill that I had to learn, shed my blood, sweat and tears for this to finally feel, if not perfect 100% of the time with myself, then at least definitely feel better. I love social interactions. I love talking to someone. I love having a debate sometimes. I like going out for lunch with someone instead of my own, of course. However, there are these times of, let me phrase this differently. As much as I like going out with someone, whether that be for lunch, coffee, or having someone over at my house, which isn't a possibility at the moment, but when I still lived back home, obviously that was a thing, And I love spending time with my friends, and I love spending time with my family and people close to me. But I feel like there is nothing wrong with being alone, and I'm going to explain this a bit detailed, what I mean, in a second. We can of course discuss this topic as a question of nature versus nurture. So something that, are you born as being an introvert? Are you more comfortable to spend time alone because of an innate characteristic that you have, or is this a skill that you can develop? I used to be very shy when I was, well, I think I'm still a bit shy now, and I think that shyness has turned into awkwardness, especially with new people. Rather than with those I'm comfortable with, I can be a bit more outgoing. However, I used to have an issue of not doing things or not going out to places because I felt like I can't really do that alone, or I would wait for other people to do that. So I would wait for my friends to come along, or I would wait for a boyfriend if I had a boyfriend at the time. Like, I would wait for my ex-boyfriend to come with me, do something, or invite me to do something what I wanted to do in the first place. And I can sit here and say, you know, life is short, just do stuff that you want, don't wait for anybody. But truthfully, that is a fact. I didn't connect with anyone, to be honest, in college, and I didn't really, close enough to actually go out with them a lot. And I haven't yet found a big friend group, or a friend group in general, in university, which again I'm not upset over. And this has been the most life-changing, I think one of the most life-changing experiences, because it changes your perspective on things, and it changes and shifts completely the way you think. So for example, when I had a job a few months ago, I would finish work in the evening, and I could just go out to the closest pub and just have a pint by myself, have some dinner, sit there for a bit, sit on my phone, and then take the bus home and go home to sleep. My sister probably thought it was the weirdest thing that I've done, and she thinks that a lot of things that I do are weird. So this might be weird for some people. Just going to a pub after work by yourself might be a bit strange, might be giving borderline alcoholism. I don't drink anymore, by the way, like at all, but at the time I didn't find it strange. I probably wouldn't go out to a nightclub alone, just simply for safety, but I didn't see anything wrong with going out for a pint after work. If you want to, like, why not? You know, as long as you're staying safe, whatever, like, why not? I can go to the library by myself, I can go for a coffee by myself, I can have a treat by myself, I can cook and eat by myself, maybe with my phone, maybe watching a video, or sometimes I can FaceTime someone, but I can still do all those things alone, and I don't really need anyone to entertain me anymore. The other week I went to an orchestra concert by myself. I literally saw the ad for it, I went on the website, I bought a single ticket for myself, I got showered, put my makeup on, put an outfit on, took the metro by myself, got out, went to the concert by myself, and sat by myself and listened to the music by myself. That was one of the coolest things that I've done, because I wanted to go, and I didn't think, maybe how will I go alone? No, I didn't have any doubts. I just purchased the ticket and went. Thankfully, I had the money. It wasn't expensive. By the way, if you're a student or under the age of 30, most of these concerts, especially if they are funded by the government in any way, you'll usually be able to get a good discount on them. So anything like the cinema or things like theatres, you usually get a discount on them. So just saying, if you ever want to go, check out your local theatre or opera or cinema. I really recommend it. Another aspect, I think, which I should definitely mention in this episode, since we're talking about loneliness and stuff like that, are relationships. Now, I'm probably not one to speak on this, considering my previous relationships and the fact that I have not had one since. However, there is a very distinguished reason for this, and this might be borderline unhealthy, but there are also some good aspects in this, at least in my opinion, and therefore if I do this, then I'm backing up my own theory, you know what I mean? I'm not that big of a hypocrite. I was talking to someone recently and they said how they do a lot of things in their life to potentially, eventually, someday, find a girlfriend, get a date, like get into a relationship, whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I think especially our generation feels very unloved and quite unworthy, and even if we don't go that deep into it, there's nothing wrong with just wanting a relationship, especially if the majority or a lot of your friends or people of your age you see having partners, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if you've never had a relationship. You might find yourself wanting a relationship. There's nothing wrong with that. And that was just so crazy to me, how someone can actually change their life in order to someday find a girlfriend or a boyfriend. And there's nothing wrong with self-improvement. I appreciate and encourage that. And I feel motivated and inspired when I see other people improving themselves, reading, studying, working out, whatever. Besides my point. My point is, I was baffled. That's basically it. I was baffled. I was like, well, okay, that's interesting. As much as I would potentially like to be in a relationship, I don't necessarily understand what it would give me. And whenever I feel upset about not having a boyfriend who I can vent to, or someone I can do cute little things with, and like take cute pictures or film cute TikToks or eat lunch with, I just think to myself, what is this person actually gonna give me that I can't give myself? What can you do for me that I cannot do for myself? And this might now be, I might be going on a tangent from my original point of loneliness in general, because you can obviously feel alone even in a relationship and even with a bunch of people around you, which is a completely different topic. My point is, there's nothing that I can't do when I'm not in a relationship, and there is nothing I can't do if I don't have friends, and it's totally fine. I feel like a person, in order to be in healthy relationships, needs to appreciate their time alone, and they need to make amends with themselves, and that's really hard. It's extremely hard. I have faced so many challenges along the way of trying to accept myself the way that I am, because sometimes the way you are doesn't align with your social opinions and your ideologies, and that's when cognitive dissonance happens. So you would think that, well, I'm not supposed to do that, or I'm not supposed to feel or think this way, but you do. And so that is when accepting and understanding yourself can become hard, but it is vital. And when you have an improved relationship with yourself, relationships with other people also improve. And this might be controversial, but your greatest relationship and the most important one is the one with yourself. Only then maybe comes your partner or your children, or in some religions and ideologies it's the other way around, whatever, doesn't matter. It's the fact that you yourself need to understand who you are and make friends with yourself, and then you will find out what you actually want, and through that you can understand how to help yourself achieve what you want. I think that by understanding yourself, you can actually figure out your boundaries and therefore create them and not let other people cross them, which then also improves the quality of your relationships around you, and it improves your well-being and self-esteem in general. And if somebody does not respect those boundaries, then why would you need a person like that around yourself? And I have seen that many times when people are just surrounded by pointless connections, they just engage in these pointless conversations that don't give them absolutely anything. They're not in any way fulfilling or motivating or even just entertaining. So I don't understand, why would you want to cling on to something like that? And it's hard, it's really hard to not want to be desperate. But as someone who has spent so many years desperately wanting to be friends with people or desperately wanting to be liked, I feel like I finally came to the realization that until I myself don't befriend myself and don't finally start listening to myself and spending time by myself, I won't get anywhere far in all of my other relationships or potential future relationships that I will have. I feel like I'm just rambling. There is nothing wrong with being alone, and there is a difference between being alone and being in solitude and feeling lonely. But I think everyone at this point knows that you can feel extremely lonely even in a room full of people, even if they're meant to be your closest people. It just doesn't always work like that, unfortunately. I want to stop seeing these baddies being treated so badly by their shitty boyfriends or their shitty friends and wasting their time. There is absolutely no reason for that. Like, girl, come on, pick yourself up. And also, I do not have the time or the energy for bad friends or just in general people that I don't feel connected with or people that I don't trust. I want to finish up by saying that if I could just give you one tip or one exercise, that would to definitely be do something that you always wanted to do alone. Like, go out right now and do it. Not something illegal, but something like going to that cafe that you wanted to go to but you're still waiting for someone to invite you. Go by yourself. You want to buy a new book, buy it and read it, and then write a review, post it on Goodreads, make a Goodreads account, put it in the comment description, post a TikTok about it. If you want to go to a dance class, sign up. They're usually not that expensive. You can find anything affordable in your own price range. Learn a new language, get a new haircut. Just do whatever you want. Life is short. And hopefully I will film more of these and we can actually have a little chitty chat. Anyways, thank you for listening, and be sure to leave your reviews and opinions in the comments below and tell me what you think. Bye.